All right, yeah, going into this game, you kind of felt like you need to be a little bit tougher, I think, just overall against this team to accomplish that tonight?
Boy, I don't know that I have that answer for you. Like my gut does not tell me right now that we were the tougher team. And I get it. We won and we scored 90 points, but in the second half, we gave up 8 offensive rebounds, and probably those 8 were in the first 6 or 8 minutes of the half, and we gave them opportunities to get back into the game, and we've got to be better than that. But give them credit, man. They came out at halftime, and we hit a 3, and they didn't wilt, and they just kept plugging away, and they just kept coming at us on the boards, and they made us pay. We've got to be better than that if we're going to win moving forward.
As you said, you guys actually did win the game, though, so there were some good things that went with that. I hope Don with a big charge there in the second half. He had 8 of 10 points during kind of a key stretch for you. Just kind of took things over.
Yeah, I mean, he hit that little step back 3 again, and he got going downhill and got to the basket and got his runner a couple times. But, I think, and I'll have to go back and watch the film, but probably 3 or 4 of those possessions, we got a defensive stop. And then we were able to turn that into our offense. I thought that their switching in the half court, caused us some problems. We didn't do a good job slipping until towards the end of the game, and we didn't adjust to that probably well enough. And that's on me. I've got to help those guys and prepare those guys better in that regard. But yeah, Don McKenry was fabulous again tonight. He's a good basketball player. There's a lot of good players in this league, but he certainly is one of the ones at the top.
Christian returned to the floor tonight. What do you think about his performance?
Yeah, I haven't really looked at his line or any of those sorts of things, but I thought that he was fine. He's a little bit rusty probably, but he's practiced well this week, and you always worry about once they get into the game that maybe their conditioning is not there. But I didn't really see any missteps from his end in terms of conditioning. Our training staff and our strength staff, they've done a good job of keeping him involved, and he's a good athlete, so that helps. But I thought he played well. I thought he made a turnover or 2 that might have been a little careless early, but then he settled into the game, and he took that one to the baseline and hit that little floater or that little runner, whatever you want to call it. That was a big basket for us, and I thought that when he was able to get to the rim, that really helped us.
I think turnovers obviously was a big concern coming into this game. They led the nation in steals, and you guys had some troubles at times with turnovers, but tonight pretty even. You feel okay about that?
I would say okay is a good word. 16 turnovers against those guys is pretty good. I still thought in my mind that we needed to keep it 12, 13, 14 at the most. But, like the one Don turned over late, I really, that would get us to 15. But I thought, especially in the second half, we were much better in terms of taking care of the basketball, especially Don. Don only had 1 turnover in the second half, and that certainly helped us.
Steve, in tense situations, sometimes Don, you can almost see it in his face. If all else fails, he's going to go to the hole. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Did you pick up on that early after you started coaching him, or is that kind of developed as he's been?
No, I think Don had that in him before he arrived. The thing I'll tell you guys about Don, if you watch his facial expressions and his body language, he doesn't really get too high and too low. Now, every once in a while, I'll get on his butt, and if I get after him really, really hard, it'll rattle him. So I try not to do that, obviously. But he never gets high and never gets low and never really gets shook. And I think, deep down inside when things get crazy, Don knows to go to the basket and go try and score. He's done it all his life, and he's been very good at it. So it's a good quality to have in my mind.
Coach, last time we talked, you broke down kind of a Steph, Kobe, Rondo breakdown that you do for the other team. I have to imagine that Hardy was kind of in a league of his own there. He's the 4th highest scorer in Conference USA. Kind of break down how you plan to attack him. Which of those categories did he come in?
Yeah, Hardy was definitely a Curry. We were supposed to be there on the catch and have 2 high hands every single time that we close him out and not give him anything easy. And I thought for the most part we did that. We lost him a couple times, which happens during the game. But for the most part, those guys did that. Obviously, the kid, Corey Camper, he started shooting it well. And in the game, so we switched him over to a Curry at some point during the game. other than that, most of those guys were either Kobe's or Rondos. And when you have Kobe's, especially Rondos, I should say, when you have Rondos, it allows you to kind of help. And so if Tay Hardy's driving the basketball, you should be there in the gap and you should stop the basketball. And if they want to throw it out to the guy that's maybe not a great shooter, now you close out with your hands up and you close out a little short knowing he's going to drive it. No, I thought our guys did a good job. I haven't looked at Tay's line, but he got 19 points on 16 shots. I mean, that's a pretty good defensive night for us.
They seem to have a real tendency to kind of muddy up the lane. Seems to be what they do. I thought Tegan really played strong in there when he was there, and it really looks less and less like a freshman this season.
Yeah, and I think he's played enough minutes that he's probably shaken the freshman jitters or whatever you want to call them. I mean, at this point of the year, I don't know that you are a freshman anymore if you're playing consistent minutes every night. And he certainly is getting consistent, or has been getting consistent practice minutes all year long. So, as I've said before, I really like Tegan, and I think that he's going to continue to be a good player for us. I was really proud of him tonight. I mean, made his free throws. He didn't really turn the ball over a whole bunch, and then defensively, I thought he was great.
Baba might be a player that's kind of hidden in the stat line. A double-double, I believe. Got 10 rebounds, 10 total points, the highest plus-minus on the team at 21. What is he doing, out there on the floor?
Yeah, and I mean, I thought Baba played great tonight. He was in there battling and was able to get some rebounds. At UTEP, he scored the ball a little bit better, but to his defense, we probably didn't get him the ball in positions to score enough tonight either. Obviously that falls on me, but between the two of them, what did they get? 14 rebounds and 17 points. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll take that every single night out of that position. I thought he played well tonight. And that's not to say that Rodney played poorly. I just thought that Baba played well tonight.
You guys have been so good defending the three-pointer this year. Second half, though, you guys created a little bit of separation. They come back and hit 3 straight threes, I think, to get themselves right back in this game. But other than that, 8 for 29, you guys defended it pretty well. What happened in that stretch?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch the film. I know that on one of them, we just lost our man. Just plain and simple, you're supposed to guard Tay Hardy or you're supposed to guard Camper, whoever it was, and we just completely lost him. They run a play where they kind of put the guy down around the rim, and they do a couple things out here, and then they drive the basketball, and then they bring that kid out right behind where they started the basketball. We call that a shake action, and they got a 3 off of that. So it's just a matter of lack of concentration or just gotten caught in the flow of the game and maybe not being paying attention enough.
4 of your final 5 games are repeat games. The only new opponent is FIU. Or no, I guess they are a repeat opponent. So your final 5 games are all repeat opponents. You surely have to prepare for that a little differently than a new team, because you get to watch film of them actually playing your team. What's the preparation going into playing rematches?
Yeah, well, this week's preparation is you better be able to rebound that basketball, you better take care of that basketball, and you better be physically tough. Because at the end of the day, if you don't match UTEP's toughness, if you don't match New Mexico State's toughness, you're going to lose. And so that was the message this week, right? But different weeks are different, right? When you play Liberty, for example, there's going to be a little more switching going on. So your message is communicating your switches and those sorts of things. So it kind of fluctuates week to week. Now, with all that being said, playing a team a second time, obviously you know them, you've competed against them, so it's a little easier for you to know the ins and outs of what they do. Basketball players, they remember playing against other guys. When you play somebody in a game and you guard somebody in a game, and you're going to remember how they played and what they did and what was working for you to be good defensively.
La Tech won tonight.
Did they?
I haven't
Okay.
seen Sam Houston.
One more time. So La Tech won.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sam Houston's final. So you're still a half game back standings.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of games to play, guys. We need to worry about us. I'm not worried about who wins on the other side of those boards. La Tech's still got to come here. We still got to go to Liberty. We got to go to Middle. You know what I mean? There's a lot of games to be played. I've said it before. I don't think that the person that wins this league is going to win it with three losses. Whether it's 4, whether it's 5, whether it's 6, I don't know that, but it's not going to be 3. I'd be shocked if it's 3. So we got to worry about us, and we've got to be better than we were tonight. We've got to be better than we're tonight. And, like I said, in my radio after the game, you score 90 points and you're disappointed with the way we play. I think that's a good sign of possibly where we can go. I think that we've got a lot of improvements that we can still make.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.